Alright, making a video, I believe. Yes, I am. I'm trying to put my glove back on. Yes, I am. It really is nasty here. Nasty cold it's gonna get and all that crap. Ugh. Nasty. Sorry. This glove thing is a little tougher than I thought it would be. Okay. Yeah, I shouldn't be a pussy about it. I should just go bare. Anyway. Anticontabod. Yeah, I was doing pretty good yesterday. Yeah, off day again. Just complain. Yeah, I just complain a little more. No, it's kind of interesting. Except it's now wet and it's going to get just brutally cold for the next couple of weeks. Eesh. Anyway, okay, Anticontabod. Is depression a desirable state, or is depression an undesirable state? And then he does the reverse of that, which is whatever it is. Well, anyway, so those are the four options he gives us. Anyway, that this whole, it's not about desirable, like, obviously in the, oh, it's fun kind of way. It's desirable in the, what makes you a more productive human being. So again, he's just missing the point. The point is you have, look, your body and your mind are two different things. Come on. Yes, you're one thing, but I'm just saying the interest of your body, right? Your body can't think, it's not smart, it's not any of that kind of stuff. And it's the thing that needs to be survive. It's the thing that needs to be fed, and it's got the programming from nature still in it. So yeah, it needs to be, it needs to do the sex thing, which is intended, which is contrived to create the reproduction thing that satisfies the DNA molecule's agenda. Let's not go through this all again. But your mind doesn't come up with these desires. Okay, your mind doesn't think and say, what's a good thing for me to desire? Oh yes, I'll desire food and I'll desire sex because I desire to survive because that's all I can think of. No, your mind is capable of doing a lot more than that, stepping way beyond native programming and understanding the machine it's part of and optimizing its performance to what it understands. So it doesn't, it's not a slave to the native function. I mean, this is, like I said, this should be obvious to anybody who has any kind of vocabulary. And, Anticontabod has a vocabulary. Oh, this water is going to be... Fuck. I mean, damn it. I mean, shit. Half of it's created by my goddamn neighbors. They won't leave, they've been kicked out of their house and they won't leave. It's just kind of silly that the law allows people to do this shit where they don't leave, they've worn out their welcome, behaved badly, and they're somehow protected from moving along. But anyway, so yeah, now they're, well, I won't go into it, but people are just so fucking obnoxious. Anyway, some people, most people. All right, all people. Anyway, better, happier days. Anyway, just don't fall, Gary. Okay. So yeah, our brain can think bigger and better. And the whole point I've been trying to make, is that, logically, this simple argument. Okay, we know that the welfare, the comfort of the sentient organism is the objective. The objective is to retain as much dignity as possible. Some sort of prince here I don't care for either. Sacrifice none of our dignity or integrity or any of that crap and try to get maximize the number of humans who are happy and all that bullshit, and the most freedom and the most this and the most some sort of optimization of the production of what is called aliveness. That's the objective. It's weird, the animal hopped on top of, it didn't like stepping in the ground. Anyway. Tracing its path. Yeah. Not very big, not a bear. A little tiny bear, maybe. Anyway. I was dreaming about spiders earlier. That was kind of creepy. I don't, apparently I don't like spiders as much as, I didn't like it. They were attacking, they were very aggressive spiders. They had like drill presses and, spear chuckers, and they were just really, really, really aggressive spiders. Anyway, that's a whole side issue. Probably it's not terribly related to this subject. One of them had a head like anaconda, though. Now that I think about it, they did have faces. Interesting. Bear hunting season here now, too. Yeah, for a week, people get to shoot poor little bears, which should be exterminated. The bears should just be properly eradicated. They shouldn't be shot. They should be eradicated. Anyway, guillotined. Whatever. Bored to death, maybe. Yeah, make them watch Matt videos. Anyway. I know, I'm going to get back to the video. This really isn't that complicated. I'm just saying that, look, we produce value. We want to maximize it. Your brain is smart enough to know it really shouldn't matter how you optimize. Whether you optimize your behavior or you optimize the guys next door to you's behavior, it doesn't matter. All you're after is the optimized behavior. You're just after fuel efficiency. So, it's like you had a special little trick. Like you invented something, like Warble's on a lot. You invent things, except you actually invent something useful. All right? And it doesn't cost anything. All you got to do is take a little bit of time, 5 minutes under the hood, and you get 5 more miles to a gallon. If a person has that, it would be stupid for them just to use it on their car and go, ha ha, I'm getting 5 more miles to a gallon and you're not. No. The perfectly logical thing for the human who actually understands the predicament he's in, and that we're all in this together, so to speak, we're all value producers, would be for him to go to everybody he knows and say, here's the trick, here's all you do, and I'll do it for you if you want. So his brain should be working for everyone, not just for his car. He should want all cars to be optimized, all cars to be more efficient, all cars to do better, to be in a better condition. And that's our circumstance. So getting back to Anacontavad, desirable isn't really, a fair word to use when you're talking about productivity. It certainly can be used. You can force the thing and say, okay, it's desirable if it has this net beneficial effect. But then a lot of unpleasant things will be desirable in sort of that backdoor way. Is it desirable that people be inconvenienced, in terms of how much electricity they're allowed to use? Yeah, it would be desirable. Even though this generation wouldn't like it, the future is going to really love it if you do that. Obviously, is it desirable for us to create extensive infrastructure that's rock solid and reliable? Put it all underground and have it fantastically capable. And we have to work really hard, and we'll get very little personal benefit out of it. Is that desirable? Well, yes, in the context that a future will enjoy it. So, it's just not... So to answer the question more fully, the argument being made about depression is that depression tends to leave people improved, okay, in terms of their maybe things like sensitivity and humility, an appreciation for maybe a fairer appreciation for the risks of life, the horrors of them, the depth of that suffering that's possible, it can happen to anyone kind of thing. That certainly gives you one of those feelings that you can be just seem just fine, and somehow everything goes whack, and you're functionally disabled by thoughts. And isn't that horrible? But I guess ultimately what I would argue is that it's going to temper desire and make it easier or clearer that all you're living on is desire. It's going to reveal to you maybe a piece of this truth, that hunger is what drives you, not reason, but reason spiked. Okay, it's reason that has been distorted and perverted, okay, in terms of its agenda by this, blinding, compulsive disorder, called living. Yeah, it is kind of funny, but yeah, I mean, life can be pretty much for the sentient organism. Life pretty much is a compulsive disorder. You are compelled to do this stuff. You aren't impelled or propelled by reason alone. You're just using your reason to try to satisfy the agenda being set by your body and your psychology. These things are setting the agenda, not your thinking machine. So it's like having a game where the goals are already established and you're just using your brain to scheme satisfaction of the goals. Well, the more I would argue, what depression does is it cleans the field and it makes you rationally find goals. It makes you look for them, real goals, not mechanical bodily goals, not compulsions, but something of real gritty value. And yeah, you're not going to find it and probably get more depressed. But I mean, that's the value is in the cleansing of your perspective. The fact that it does in a way blind you to the agenda of the body, blind you to the agenda of the DNA molecule long enough to get a good look at reality and say, wait a minute, this is a train wreck. And I didn't know it was a train wreck just because I was too busy wrecking the train. Another one of the ironies. But yeah, it seems that's the only two jobs there are. Preventing the train wreck or causing the train wreck. You're either with us or you're against them. You're with them or against them. You're on our side or the wrong side. Yeah, there really aren't choices here and such. I wonder if these batteries held up. Yeah, they did. Good. So anyway, so to answer the question, wow. I would argue that I don't think that depression is necessary to enlightenment. So I guess I would argue it's not a desirable state to impose on somebody because it is pricey. But it's certainly a state that can be. There, that's the more relevant terminology. It can be a very integral and valuable state for certain individuals to acquire understanding, a mechanism for acquiring understanding. And So for that, I would say yes, it's a desirable state under circumstances where it can have profound and valuable effects on future behavior of people. In your case, I guess I would have to concede there are cases where it turns people into assholes, but maybe you were an asshole before you were depressed. So yeah, maybe depression doesn't always un-asshole people. Some people can have depression and still remain assholes. And that probably happens a lot through treatment. You know, people get saved from their depression by a chemical. You know, take a few pills. So instead of having to learn how to live in the world their depression is revealing, they just, you know, pill it away, create a new phony comfort and peace of mind, you know, often at the sacrifice of desire itself, which is funny. It's almost a neutering of a pet, you know, for the benefit of everyone concerned. You get the pet neutered, because if he isn't neutered, he's going to be too passionate, he's going to be too distracted, and he's going to make too big a mess. Yeah. So anyway, those are some reactionary type thoughts to this simplistic jargoneering. I would argue that your vocabulary is manipulative. This is bad. There's ice on the damn rocks. Fuck that. Now there's water on the damn feet. But that's better than walking on icy rocks, I think. Yeah, I haven't gotten in the mood to wear boots yet. They're heavy. Yeah, I'm getting weak and feeble. It's a much longer walk when you're got big boots on. Anyway, I'm really getting. I'm gonna need a wheelchair soon. I'll have to push it myself, no doubt. Fuck. Anyway, so till the next time. I really just figure out all this water everywhere. Snow melt in December. Not even late December. Shit. Anyway, till next time. Yeah, that's probably enough. Way past it, no doubt. Just gotta start saying stop saying no doubt. Oh, although that that's a pretty good group, no doubt. It's pretty well, I mean, it's one good song. Yeah, one song was pretty good. Anyway, next time and all that crap.